I am still waiting for Edward to join me. I have a special guest. He is super awesome. He will, well, I come across him, look at his profile. He talk about, organizational behavior, and I am interested in the topic, so I asked him to join me. There you are, he's here, and I see him turn up on the screen. He will be joining me. Super excited. Thank you everyone for joining. I am with Edward today. Hello,
Yeah.
Edward. Good to see you again. We catch up just briefly. How are you
Hello,
today?
Somphol.
Yeah.
I'm doing great. Thank you, man.
All right. Very good.
Actually, I'm thank you for having me today to speak something about my my experience in different fields in the business environment
Yes.
and talk something about my personal
Yes.
experience
Yes.
living in abroad and in different countries.
We are happy to have you here because it's super awesome to have someone knowledgeable and someone who use English not as a student but use English to talk about topics that is meaningful. So
Okay.
tell us a bit about yourself. How did you end up in Brazil? What did you do before that? What did you study?
Okay. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself for your audience here. And
Yes,
I'm
definitely, yeah.
Edward, and I'm a country manager of a Spanish company in Latin America. And we have different offices around the world, and we based it mainly in Madrid, in Spain, and we have different offices in Cairo, Egypt, Dubai, Tehran, and Iran, here Brazil, and Mexico.
Cairo, Egypt, Dubai,
Iran,
Iran, okay, and
Tehran,
Tehran.
Brazil.
Okay, Brazil. So that's 5 offices.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We have another one in Switzerland, in
In
Chiasso.
Switzerland. Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I didn't quite catch the name of the city. What city was that?
Here,
in Switzerland.
in Brazil.
No, in Switzerland.
Chiasso.
How do you spell it?
Chisso. Chiasso.
Chisso. Oh, okay. Chisso.
Yeah, Chiasso is in the south of Switzerland,
right?
Close to border of Italy, and close to Milan.
Close to Milan. Okay, at least we know where that is. We can look it up from the map. All right.
Yeah.
What did you study before you coming to work? Like, what do you study?
My background is tourism, and when I lived in Spain, I moved to Spain when I was 21. So I studied tourism and focus on business and management.
Right.
When I back to Brazil, I finished my postgraduate in business management. So that's it.
Tell me a bit more about. Go ahead.
Okay, no, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, and I shouldn't be doing that. So I'll try to raise my hands before I interrupt you next time. I was just curious. You say postgraduate. What does it actually? I think he'll be joining. He'll be joining again. I'm with Edward today, and he is the guy who speaks 3 languages: English, Spanish, and Portuguese, and he got a fair bit of experience. Let me add him here. I'm waiting for him to get online with us.
I'm back.
Yeah, okay, that's magic. Thank you for coming back. I'm for a second,
That's
I'm a bit
magic.
worried.
It's a
Yeah.
technology magic. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You asked me. You asked me something about my postgraduate or something.
Yeah. So you use the term postgraduate, and I don't quite understand like what exactly does that mean.
That's it.
Postgraduate.
Yeah, my postgraduate is focused on business and management.
Okay. Right. So is it 1 year or 2 year, or is it a master degree or?
It's a two. It was 2 years.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
in business management. So it's like
Yeah.
MBA stuff.
And that's it's not an MBA. It's a
Right.
specialization in business area. Business
Right.
field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try to start with your background in terms of what make you want to go into tourism and later on business.
Okay. I moved to from the tourism sector to business management because it's so so open market. Because if I focus only in tourism, in business management I can work in different areas in different fields,
Right.
And when I was in Madrid working for this company, I focus in this field, this business management, to have more opportunities.
Oh, okay. Right.
Okay.
So you were working in tourism first, but then you see opportunity. If you expand yourself, grow yourself a bit more into business, then you are not restricted to just one sector.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. That makes sense. So now let's delve into the topic at hand.
Okay.
We were talking. Yep. We were trying to talk about.
The topic today, it's about organizational behavior of international companies, and as you know, it's most of companies around the world are expanding or markets, mainly in big markets like Latin America and Asia. It's important to have this view in the future because the globalization pressure different companies to stay in different markets. If you want to increase or to increase your business, it's crucial to think globally.
I see. So you're talking about the trend in the world now that you can't stay local. You need to go global. You need to think in terms of global scale. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
There are two sides of this globalization. The first side is when companies want to move or shifting different productions or manufacturing in abroad. On the other hand, how can we do that? And who is managing this project in different areas, in different countries?
Okay.
When you move manufacturing overseas or neighboring countries or next to you, it's important. The first thing is to concern about the budget that you have to. The first thing is elaborate a good business plan to do that.
Right.
But
so
it's okay.
So you were saying that the first thing is once you establish yourself in one country, and you are thinking about expanding further, and then you need to have a sound plan first of all to see if it makes sense to expand.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
The first thing is to reduce price to manufacturers different things. Or in my case, it's services, but in my case, we have a good opportunity in Latin America because it's a huge market, you know. And 10 years ago, my company penetrates Asian market or as a Middle East market because people don't see to Arabic market, for example. It's Emirates, Yemen, Oman, and Egypt, and different areas like I don't know, some Iran, no? It's undiscovered market around the world, you know. So 10 years ago, my company focused in this market because it's undiscovered market. Right now, we have a good opportunity to penetrate in Latin America.
Right.
You know? So
okay.
For that, we have trusting or to elaborate a project to stay in this market. The culture is totally different from Europeans or Asians or Middle East people. So the culture, you have to trust in someone to manage this project. In my case, my mother is Brazilian, and I have the opportunity to manage her, and I know how people or how market works here. And other thing that I would like to mention is about the cycle of this process.
Okay, please.
It begins with the culture. You have to understand the culture. The next one is you know exactly the values of this society where you're working in abroad. And the third one is attitudes. You have to think globally, but the actions are local, like you mentioned before. And the last one is the behavior. You have to understand exactly the shock between different cultures. For example, in my case,
yes, I am a bit confused when you say the shock or the shock between futures. Can you clarify?
The culture shock when you introduce some product in different cultures. For example, introduce Coke in Arabic market. You know?
Oh, okay. All right. So
the taste, the flavor, the taste are totally different in different markets, like American, the Asian, and Africa. You know.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. If you introduce the same product, you need to understand exactly the culture.
Right.
Arabic people love the taste of American Coca-Cola. I don't know.
Right. So you actually mean culture, right? So I hear it as culture. All right, it's cultures. Now that makes sense.
The culture.
Thank you for the culture. So thank you so much for elaborating on that. All right, let's go on.
Okay. The last thing is about the behavior. No, it's the person that is managing this project in abroad, and you need to understand exactly what is the importance of these people for you, for in this case, for the company, you know. And it's the one side. The other side is the company is concerned about the well-being of this person in abroad. In most of case, people works alone or in small teams, and you have to concern about well-being of these people because this team works alone in abroad.
Oh, okay. So
So
now
far
let
off.
me.
Okay.
So you're talking about when you expand to other market, then you start with a small team,
Yeah. Exactly.
and then
Yeah.
you will have
About
someone.
expectation. Yeah.
You will have
Because
someone move overseas and work in a small team.
yeah, because when you introduce some project in abroad, probably you have a high expectation about to have an edge, advantage of this market. But
Yes.
what about people are working
Right.
for you? You know,
Yeah. Okay. That
and
makes sense.
it's for example, it's a taboo topic, but there are a lot of suicides. It's a high percentage of suicides in managers that working for foreigner companies in abroad.
Right. Right.
Okay, actually, we have a case here in our company. Our partner take his life 4 years ago.
Right.
And it's a complicated topic because
Yeah.
but it's you need to touch this kind of things, you know.
Yeah, I think this is important topic as well. So I mean, I personally also experienced a few cases where people are having this depression, and
Yeah,
it is important
exactly.
that
Yeah.
it's Australian, for example, have a lot of this problem in Australia, and it's really hard to detect people when they start to have this depression. We have a day in a year, special day. We call it "Are You Okay?" day. So
Yeah,
we ask people, are you like, at least people who are next to you, just ask them like, "Are you okay?" Then if they have anything to say, they will, at least you get an early
exactly.
sign of something is off, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And the another point that we like to concern is about the sad skills of this person is, for example, self-confidence. It's a 4 or 5 points. This is so important. For example, self-confidence and self-regulation, control is hoping to change. Resilient people are resilient for motivation and empathy. Okay.
So let's see. Let's say I agree with you that this is really absolutely important. Empathy, self motivation, growth, and so on. How do you measure that? How do you measure that? As in, how do you know if that team is doing well on many of these metrics?
No, because the managers are so demanding because we have to deliver results. And
okay. Yeah, so I understand that. I understand what may cause that, but let's say, how do you keep tab? How do you know if the team is doing well? What is your feedback system that is telling you, like, today they seem to be happy, tomorrow they're not, like, things are going off track. How do you sense that? How do you I don't know what terms you use, like,
yeah,
what's
I know, I got your point. First of all, you have to divide in two things about feedbacks and criticism. There are difference between criticism and feedback. Most of the leaders or managers are not this different about you give a feedback or good feedback or bad feedback. Okay.
Right. So I'm just saying, I understand your point. You're talking about feedback and criticism, but But what my questions was regarding, for example, you sent someone overseas, right, as a team, and and you are quite demanding, like, you know, put a bit of pressure on them. Now you're talking about their well-being. You said they need to be happy. They need to do in terms of healthy and growth and so on. But my question is, how do you know that they are doing well?
Okay, and here we have periods meetings with people, and you have a process to analyze different functions here, and probably for example, when how can know if people are doing well?
Yes. How do you know?
A part of the results. So I would like to talk about emotional and mental things. No.
Yes. Yes.
It's important. For example, here we have working flexible hours, and I have to enjoy with my family here. And I work for a project with projects. If I can work at home and here in my office, and if I want to stay with my daughter, I can go out and enjoy with my family. It's some point that you offer for your company to manage these kinds of problems. You know?
Right. So essentially what you're saying is, when you think about their well-being, what you do is, rather than pulling the signal from them, you actually offer them upfront the flexibility of working to reduce the pressure, flexibility of working, you know, flexible hours, and then opportunity to maybe have some budget to enroll in classes that they like to learn.
Some extra money to waste in a gym, or to go out, or to take holidays.
Okay, so that means it's a bit of an incentive as well, right? To sort of like, okay, you need to work overseas, we give you something extra, so then you are happy with working overseas, and we benefit from that, and you get a bit of things that you want to do. Right.
Yeah, because it's so complicated to manage the relationship with people in different ways. You know?
I totally agree.
Mainly in abroad.
And don't you have the problem locally as well?
Actually, we have, because my company is growing fast, and the feedback is we are missing some feedbacks from our board of directors. You know, people don't have a lot of time to take meetings with us, or to give good feedbacks about different projects. The company is increased a lot. You know?
Okay, so now you are talking about the feedback in different meanings, right? This is the feedback or some reflections that people give to you, right? And in this case, you said coming from the board of director. Is that correct?
Yeah, the directors, the boarders. Yeah, okay.
And then at one point, one of your posts, you talk about the difference between feedback and criticism.
Criticism, yeah.
Right. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Okay, I mentioned something about two kinds of criticism: constructive criticism and destructive criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Many managers around the world and don't understand exactly the difference of feedback, positive feedbacks or negative feedbacks, with constructive or destructive criticism. People have to understand when you have a team in abroad, you have to be sensitive in different ways of to give our feedback or critical or criticism, or to give a criticism about different things. It's my point of view about that, because it's influenced directly in the results of the company.
So from your perspective, when you talk about the feedback or criticism, there are two types. One is positive, the other one is constructive. The other one is destructive. You talk about in terms of your managers. You want them to be able to give the feedback correctly.
Because constructive criticism, it's important to because you have to learn from criticism, the constructive criticism. On the other hand, destructive criticism, not only from your managers, from your partners, your co-workers. If you have a problem with or receive a lot of destructive criticism from your co-workers or teammates, probably you have to avoid this person to protect your mental emotional health.
So there are two sides that we are talking about now. One is someone, on one side we can focus on how to give the proper feedback. But on the other hand, you also talk about on the receiving side how to deal with destructive criticism. Which one do you want to focus on more? Receiving side or giving side? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I try to say?
I try to filter different criticism and get something that you add something for me. When I receive I receive criticism, destructive or constructive criticism every day, and I have to filter the destructive criticism and put these things on the other side, and keep your life,
keep your sanity, right? You keep yourself sane, right? You're not going crazy and like this guy is so negative. They give you negative power. They say some bad thing about you. You're like, too much. I can't process that, right?
It's every time people, it's just not so good. It's not good to give me a result. Where is the result? It's a lot of pressure,
You're right. Now, have you ever thought about when you give someone criticism or feedback? Have you ever thought about like how to do it constructively, or do you have a tip to maybe give us some idea of what is the best way?
If you detect some destructive criticism in your workplace, probably you have to say that of your manager. In this case, if you receive destructive criticism from your teammates, you have to notice your boss or manager or HR department. If you receive from your manager, probably you have to report this kind of thing to HR department.
So have you ever thought that maybe it's a problem of people do not know how to give correct feedback, then they go negative without knowing. Like they are undereducated on like how to give the proper feedback. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's a hard topic, because when you need the salary, the incomes to live, probably people support a lot of things, hard things, in different way.
Right. Let me try to reflect what you're saying. You're saying when people need to work to earn a living, sometimes they go through a lot, and sometimes they give a bad feedback to other people. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and on the other hand, people have unbalanced life. Bring something from outside to inside the company. It's another problem that we can see in different areas.
Right. Do you organize a class where you have people to attend a class and tell them like, here are the best way to give the feedback to your colleagues?
Yeah. Here we have weekly meetings to talk about different topics, not only about results, but about what are you feeling in the company, and to know about their lives and what are they feeling about working here.
Right.
Yeah, it's a way to manage something.
Okay. Right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anything else that you want to talk about? We have like casual discussion. Relax, have a good time, you and I.
I don't know. I think that at the moment it's
okay. I have a question then. I have a question then. I actually miss your live session, right? And I've seen your post. You have that live session about the startup in the city where you are, and the reason why you think they failed. Can you share with me a bit on the content of what you said in your live session?
In my last live session.
Yes,
it's about the client amounting, or it's about an article that I wrote.
You have I think you have one of the sessions that talk about what city are you what city are you now? You are a bit further down from Sao Paulo, right? South.
No, it's in the south of Brazil. It's Curitiba.
Can you spell the city name? I can't remember. Start with C, right? C.
Curiba.
Okay. Curi Bua. Okay. Curitiba. Curi. Bira. Okay. Diba. Sorry, I mispronounced that, but I know where that is. I look it up. Yeah, I looked it up before. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll do the search in the meantime. So now tell me a bit more about the startup and you in that city and why do you think they fail? Like, or what do you think they can do better?
Here in Curitiba.
Yeah. Remember you have one of the session you talk about the failure startup in general in that city.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you remember. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice topic because it's about startups in Brazil.
Yes,
And
yes.
I wrote an article
Uh-huh.
about startups,
Uh-huh.
the startups in my postgraduate project. It's a paper. Yeah, it's
Okay, yes.
my paper.
It's your
So
paper. Okay, good.
yeah, we analyzed different startups here in Curitiba
Mm-hmm.
to understand about the failures.
Mm-hmm.
Why the high percentage of failures inside the startups in Brazil? In Brazil,
Okay.
there are okay.
Uh, I missed that. You're saying that the paper is about why something. I missed that. Can you repeat that for me, please?
The paper is about entrepreneurial failures in startups.
Okay. Okay. Entrepreneurial failure in startup.
Yeah,
Okay. I got you.
Okay, entrepreneurial learning through failures in startups. People
Oh,
learn. Yeah, people learn through failures in
ah,
our life. Everyone learning from failures. If you fail today, you'll not fail tomorrow. You know, it's
ah,
it's happening with different business. You have to
right.
fail fast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have a project, you have to prototype different products, put it inside the market, and if it doesn't work, you have to fail fast to start again. You know,
Right.
people
So,
learn that it's a process of learn.
so that paper, the essence or the main topic of that paper you're talking about is to encourage people to learn from failure. Is that correct?
Yeah. No, it's not encouraged to fail, but people is afraid about fail a business
Oh, right.
because the society pressure people, families, and your environment pressure people to not fail. But fail is not
Ah.
a bad thing, you know.
So you are saying in
It's
your paper, you try to tell
yeah,
them, do not afraid of failure. Do not try to avoid it, but learn from it.
yeah,
I
yeah. If
see.
you have to fail but fast, you know,
Right.
and starting.
Oh, I see. How did you get the feedback from your paper?
Yeah, okay. Actually, we interviewed 10 businessmen
Mm-hmm.
here, 10 business, small business,
Mm-hmm.
and we received good feedbacks from this project.
Oh, I see. So what is the
Actually,
main?
I will send you the abstract.
Okay, that would be awesome. Thank you. I would love to hear more about that. And I mean, it's good to hear that in your city now. I know that your city name now, and I know where that is on the map. Curitiba, Curitiba,
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Curitiba. And
Curitiba.
then I actually searched on the internet before coming to talk to you that it's I think it's the fourth city, fourth largest startup city in Brazil, behind
Yeah,
Sao Paulo, behind I'm not sure Rio de Janeiro and Belo Horizonte, and the fourth is
yeah.
Curitiba. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. This, here, there are a nucleo of technology companies
Mm-hmm.
and mainly focus on fintechs. Do you know fintechs are?
I don't know. Can you spell it for me, please?
Fintechs, FIN,
Mm-hmm.
tech,
Oh, I know fintech,
E
financial technology.
financial tech, financial
Okay,
technology.
right.
Yeah.
Now I am a bit curious. What makes your city different than Sao Paulo than Rio de Janeiro or Belo
Okay.
Horizonte? What is the uniqueness of that city?
My city is a cosmopolitan city, and it's located in the south of Brazil. And the richest areas in Brazil are in the south and this southeast of Brazil. For example, Rio de Janeiro, São Paulo, and part of the center of Brazil, where is Belo Horizonte city. Here, the fees to develop these kind of companies are more flexible.
The tax incentive.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have a company here, you get lower tax rate.
Yeah, and reduce tax rate. The government, the state support these kind of companies, classified like fintechs or different kinds of company in South Brazil.
Right. So I remember there was some discussion about like different city try to attract investor to that city, and one of the mechanism they use is giving you a tax incentive. What about the knowledge worker? Is it easy to find people with knowledge to work here in this city compared to Sao Paulo and others?
About the knowledge of people, sure.
Yes. So would you when you have your company in certain city, you need to hire people from local city. Do you have enough? Yeah, do you have enough local talent?
Okay.
To work for your company.
Here. I don't know if I have. I'm not sure if you need local about a high education to work in this kind of project.
Oh, I see.
I know. Probably you can bring different people in Brazil to work here, because this kind of cities in south of Brazil offer more quality, life quality,
Oh.
And people are attracted for living here.
So you solve that problem by looking nationally in other cities, and then you give them incentive to relocate to your city.
Yeah, the incentives and quality of life in this kind of city.
Can you give us the viewer and also myself, because we don't really have any conceptions of different city and different life quality. Can you give us a bit of a idea of how much better quality of life here compared to say Sao Paulo?
Monetary speaking, here in the south of Brazil, in Curitiba, it's about 35% less than São Paulo.
So it's a cost of living, you're saying?
Yeah, it's people prefer move to Curitiba in south of Brazil to earn less, to live with a high quality of life.
Oh, I see. Right. So you get bigger house maybe?
Yeah.
Bigger house, better car.
Yeah, here actually in Curitiba is the second biggest when I say, yeah, here it's more European immigration, and people, the average of society is higher,
I see. What about other attractions? Like, do you have more natural resources, leisure, like access to sea beaches. Is that also another attraction?
Yeah, people are tired of living in big cities like São Paulo with more to 20 millions of people, or Mexico City. Today, people are moving to outside of big cities,
Right. All right, I got it. I get some idea from you. This is the first time you are the first person that I meet who come from Curitiba. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate giving me opportunity to get to talk to you and to learn some meaningful discussion. Not only like English, English is now we sort of like we put it on the back seat. We use it mainly for communications, and we want people to learn that mistake is common, but as a non-native speaker, we own the language as well, and we should be able to embrace the language.
Okay, thank you so much. It's for having me here in your live. And if you need something, get in touch and see ya, man.
All right, thank you so much, Edward. Big thanks to you. Goodbye. We'll see you later on. Goodbye.
Right.